Greetings, New Beginning Church, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. My prayer is that this video finds you doing well and enjoying warmer and sunnier days. I wanted to send a quick video message just simply to update you on where we are as we are looking toward God's next. As you are likely aware at this point in time, Governor Larry Hogan of the state of Maryland has enacted that as of Friday at 5 p.m., there will be the entry into phase 1 of the recovery plan for the state of Maryland. There's been a lot of questions, a lot of rumors, even some false information that has begun to circulate concerning how and what and where religious organizations, churches, can gather and what that looks like. And I wanted quickly to let you know that we have started to have these conversations at our church board level and at our pastoral staff level, and we've been having them for the past few weeks. We've really been trying to ask the right questions so that when we get to answering those questions, we can make sure that we're answering the questions that need to be answered. And so, as we're walking through this, I wanted to quickly let you know that we receive guidance from the state of Maryland that goes above and beyond what is heard during a press conference, that shares with us exactly how many and what the spacing and what the other situations that are required and are expected from churches if and how they are going to meet together. I'm not going to read that longer document, but after reading it, let me assure you that there is a lot more that goes into meeting together than simply taking half the chairs out of your sanctuary or putting some dots on the floor or a bunch of other different pieces that could be part of a process. This is a complex issue of how we gather together safely, legally, and in a way that is advisable and in a way that offers as many people as possible the opportunity to worship. We've considered different options as far as outdoor services, drive-in services, and other options as ways to gather. But let me tell you that there's a few things that have led us to the conclusion that as of right now, we are going to continue to meet virtually and solely virtually with our gatherings. The first reason is that we believe that Jesus calls us to always be thinking about the most vulnerable, the least, and those that are on the fringes. That means that we don't just make decisions in light of the most healthy people, but we also make decisions in light of those who are most vulnerable as well. Ensuring that even if they are not able to gather with us physically, that we always have an opportunity and make way for them to gather and to feel the sense of community, although it being different, that does occur through gathering virtually. As such, outdoor and drive-in services are really difficult for us to pull off to be able to do live streaming and virtual options of those services for those who would self-select or opt out of being a part of those gatherings. In addition to that, we have a very small building. In fact, that's why we've talked about this renovation plan in the first place. And there are places where there are hardly 6 feet from one wall to another wall, let alone the ability to be able to have groups of people in them. Based on the guidance and requirements, our foyer, for instance, would make it very difficult to be able to get more than one family unit into the sanctuary from the front door to the sanctuary and seated down at a time. This just doesn't make it very feasible for us to be able to do ministry well at our site. Finally, we realize the complexities that are a part of this particular situation. We also realize that there are great things that are happening in this situation, and that God is using this particular circumstance for His good, even though it is very difficult for many health-wise. It's very difficult for many economically. It's very difficult for many in their businesses. And so, we want to make sure that we also are leaning into those things that the church has uncovered and recovered and is lived into over these days. And so as we continue to move through the next, let me leave you with just a few thoughts. First of all, this is a very fluid situation still, and we're learning more and more week by week, day by day, hour by hour at times. And so things likely will change. We will be working as a leadership to be able to adapt and to change and to move the best way possible into those changing circumstances. Let me also leave with you that we're exploring options that are a little bit innovative and different for what things might look like as we move into the future. We don't know what those might all look like, and I don't want to share too much, but I would like to say that there's some cool and potentially exciting opportunities that might lie in front of us as we move forward into God's next. And then finally, in this time, as things start to reopen, or as they start to go back to a little semblance of normal, as things that were canceled become not canceled, let me just encourage you that the things that we've leaned into as a church and as a society over these past couple of months don't need to stop simply because businesses are opening back up and we're able to start to move back toward life lived a little bit more normally. Love and care for each other doesn't have to go back to the way it was before. We can care for each other in this same way as we move forward. We can do these things and we can continue to be the church in powerful and amazing ways. And so as you head out into the rest of your week, I pray that God would bless you. I pray that He would give you strength for today, and He would give you that which you need, whether it's economically or whether it's emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And may we lean into His presence in these days as He leads us into His next. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me at your leisure. Hope you have a great rest of your day.